Hello there, my beautiful souls. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing out there. But I was randomly feeling guided to hop on and get this reading done. I wasn't going to read today, but I decided to utilize this combination of two decks on the board, being the Energy Oracle deck and the Angel Answers deck. So with that said and done, hopefully we can get this done for us. Let's do some pulling right from the middle. That feels right. Big happy changes. That feels like it should be in the middle. And then we have recovery. Feels like it should be in the upright, excuse me. And then on the right, the thinking man. Okay. Whew, let me catch my breath. So I feel like this day is going to highlight the fact that your life is changing. You're going to be part of certain big, important changes moving forward. And you might even feel like there's a highlight of certain small changes that have happened recently. But it seems to be a day where you need to recover from at least something significant that happened recently. And by significant, I don't even hint towards something positive, but it could have been partially, right? But there's something about you needing to combine or find a nice balance between, a relaxed approach and a very happy, upbeat approach. While sometimes, you might have even recently experienced an extreme of which, right? Where you're too relaxed, maybe not caring enough. At other points, you're too happy, too outgoing, or too energetic, and either of which, lacking moderation, can be working against you. Anyways, bear with me again as the energy isn't perfect, but that might be something you're also dealing with. Now, the thinking man on the right-hand side is hinting towards the fact that you're maybe overdoing it in the thought department, in the mental department. And so there's a push to center yourself, to reground, to maybe focus on your breathing, because it's easy at this time for each of us to, focus on the imperfections or what didn't go perfectly recently, as it is a time of, naturally being pushed to reflect a bit, at times a bit too much, but reminding ourselves each that we're individually in the driver's seat. So if you find yourself, knowing yourself best, about to or starting to overthink or overanalyze, overprocess, over-reflect, then put your foot on the brake. But I see certain symbols, certain items, if you will, popping up throughout this day period, even surrounding it. Things like feathers specifically to highlight the fact that you are very protected, okay? But I feel like these mainly are the two major energies, okay? Recovery and big happy changes. But then another side note is the thinking man. So let's move on to the Gilded Tarot. Wow, I'm really losing my breath in this reading, but I feel like this collective needs to catch their breath. But I'm also getting the reminder to provide you that you control or at times change your external reality when it comes to your mindset. Think about it. You're a manifester. If you believe something, if you believe something's going to change or won't change, if you believe you're going to recover or you're not going to recover, or something outside of you will recover or not, I guarantee you're going to manifest that. But then Spirit's saying, we're helping you more than ever. Again, one of the reasonings why you're seeing feathers. But then a lot of you are going to be seeing things like stars, magic wands, hinting towards stardom, you being a star, but also the magic wand saying you have the ability and the tool sets to magically transform your external reality. And a lot of you, there's a focus upon you manifesting and taking control otherwise of your mood, your energy, because some of you are waking up throughout this day or even more so recently feeling and thinking, I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not loving what I have going on, or at least some of which. And they're saying, well, great. Well, not great, but you get the point, because big happy changes do lie ahead for you, and we will potentially give you a bit of clarity if you're ready for it in regards to that. But there's something about some of you rewinding further back, dealing with certain levels of chaotic energy or chaotic occurrences otherwise. But then they're saying it's yet again another day that reminds you, like we, I think, already said in the beginning, your world is changing. But let's pull a couple tarot. The Queen of Cups in reverse, okay. They want to put it in the upright because it feels like there's something about you maybe being a bit emotional at this point, or it could be you reflecting upon an emotional status, an emotional way of being recently. But either way, they're saying, taking another meaning to the Queen of Cups with the big happy changes, you are going to be so emotionally fulfilled and otherwise because of these changes lying ahead. So it's really about adjusting your perspective when need be. If you're feeling like there aren't going to be these big happy changes and levels of abundance in different forms for you moving forward, then that's where or at least part of where your perspective needs adjusting, right? And they're saying your eyesight is clearer than you think. And so when you're seeing something clearly as an imperfection, then it's what you do with that, right? When you see something clearly as a positive, it feels like some of you may want to just kind of hop and skip right over that, or realign your focus towards something negative, but then that's not the point. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you're focusing upon the positives at this time, the potential, the possibilities, the changes, all right? But then there's a huge focus on the word happy because you need to focus upon what's going to make you truly happy, right? And then all the meanwhile, they're saying the word big is also super important because you hold a big presence regardless of what mood or what energy you're in. Your presence is quite large, and it's another day where you may feel kind of like you want to be more in charge, but that's really not the end goal, right? It's about you needing to make sure that you are feeling level headed, grounded, happier, and focusing on, again, the positives. Anyways, I'm hearing you're more golden than you think. Again, this feels the need to be in the upright because it feels like Spirit is saying things have been wrong in energy. Things have been too all over the place, maybe feeling too confrontational for some. Things have been too combative because of your spirituality and maybe your habit or two when it comes to your mind. But it's a day where you're needing to, again, channel what you have at hand as far as your skills, your tools, the things you've learned and gained and better understood up until this point, and channel all of which, or some of which, to your advantage. But again, because we have the Five of Wands and the upright on the board, it reminds us why changes are a must. But then they're reminding you as well, these changes aren't going to magically come to be overnight, right? And so it's a gradual shifting over time where you assist this shift and this improvement along your path by making better choices, by owning where you're going about this and that wrong, where you can do better. Nobody's perfect. But then I also feel like people are a little bit worried about you. That's what I'm getting. Maybe it's because you seem like you've been going through it or because they just care about you. But there's a little bit of worrisome energy being aimed towards you or just being felt. But I really feel like you're going to be feeling a lot better after the next handful, let's just say the next 3 to 4 days, or no, 3 to 5 days is what I'm getting. Bear with me. Within the next 3 to 5 days, you will be feeling a lot better, okay? So just remember that. But there's also something about some of you feeling like people stare at you too much, maybe listen in, to what you're saying too much, or read into what you're saying too much, or read into what you did too much. I really need you to remember that sometimes it's easy to let those, again, focuses, get out of control. And I also feel like some of you, without meaning to, connect the past to some of those conclusions, those, thoughts in the moment, those observations. So just do your best to make sure that you're remembering where you're at, what you have at hand, who you are, and the way people view you and perceive you. Nothing like the past. But then we're moving on to the Justice card over here. And it's the second daily read in a row where justice has been mentioned. And so they're saying when you recover, you receive justice. From what you need to recover from, you will receive justice. What you're thinking about a lot is leaving you feeling entrapped, is making you feel limited with the Eight of Swords. But then they're saying, there's enough in life that's going to leave you feeling trapped or limited or stressed or out of it, drained, needing to recover. Don't be part of those reasonings. You know what I mean? Be one of your best supporters and um, again, make adjustments where they're required, like we mentioned in the last daily read. As I struggle to speak, the basic point of this reading is your life is changing for the better now and more so moving forward, and you must be a part of this, okay? They're saying take control, take a deep breath, and recognize that you need to recover. Take control of your mind, reground, because big, happy changes, my friend, lie ahead. Take care.